And we're back with another edition of Breaking the Huddle. This is me. It's me. It's that MATT. Of course, riding with me as always is Scott and Rico. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, good. Done working. I'm relaxed.
I feel that.
Just talk some sports.
Doing good.
After a long week, it's always good to sit down and talk about things that matter to us, and that is the world of sports. So tonight's topic is it's the greatest point guards of all time in our eyes. I was told before I shared my list with my son, and I shared this with you guys already. But I shared my list with my son, and he point blank told me that I don't know ball. He was trying to rage bait me, is what he was trying to do, and it almost worked. My top 10 will probably be totally away from what you guys think my top 10 is going to be. My criteria is the person had to be, in my opinion, a true point guard, and not one of those hybrids like a Kobe Bryant. He didn't make my list. Didn't make honorable mention. He's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard.
No, he's a shooting guard.
A guy like LeBron who plays point, not on my list. He's a small forward, power forward, not on my list. Guys who played point guard, again, not on my or played point guard, but not their actual position, not on my list. That's just a look into what my list is all about. So mine might be a little bit more controversial than others. So, I guess we'll start with number 10, and we'll go through our honorable mention after we go with our top 10. Who wants to go first? I'll go last.
I just gotta say, like, this was a hard list to do, man. Because the only thing you could have made harder for me was if you would have said shooting guards. That will kill me right there.
Well, I mean, that's next week, so you got a week with that.
Matty French.
Trying to make my head explode. I can't pick a favorite. That shooting guard is my favorite position, and it's very hard for me to pick a top 10 on that. Holy crap.
Matty French, we're talking about favorite point guards in NBA of all time.
So
Rico, go first.
Yeah, we'll go Rico, Scott, and then myself. Who's coming in at 10?
Well, for my number 10, like I said, this was kind of hard for me, but in my opinion, I got to go with my number 10 is Steve Nash. Okay. I think that guy is highly underrated. He played so sweet. Any team he went on, he was money. And the fact that I love how he was very well known for soccer, but yet he just played basketball so well. Yeah. And I had to put him at 10. I got all the love for Steve Nash.
Okay.
Whisper. Thanks for popping in, Adrian. This is a sports show. We're giving our top 10 point guards. I will be getting that video footage up here by tomorrow. Hopefully, it's been a rough week, so stay tuned for that. Again, I will be precursor while you're watching that tomorrow or something. Whisper. Pay attention to that. We were right by the speaker that was so damn loud we might not have been able to be heard. We'll work on that. Sorry about that, but I just want to take care of business. My top 10, we're going to think that Rico and I talked about this, and I have not talked to Rico about it at all. But rolling in at top 10 for me, and you can't, he's undeniably got to be in the top 10. I loved watching him in the All-Star game when they started doing the skills competition, went around with the passes and stuff like that. And Steve Nash, great shooter. You know, two-time MVP winner, part of the 50, 40, 90 club. You have to, if you're talking about point guards, you have to not leave him out because he was a part of that explosive Phoenix Suns team. They were hot back in the day, and that's why he's number 10.
Yep.
Okay. My number 10 is a guy who is very much overlooked. He squeaked into my top 10. He's an athletic, very athletic point guard. Played for the Phoenix Suns. He played for the Dallas Mavericks. Played for the New Jersey Nets. We got to go with my guy, Jason Kidd.
Yes.
J Kidd was one of those guys that made everyone around him better. But he didn't elevate enough to win a championship. He was part of that great New Jersey Nets team. And when they gave us Detroit Pistons fans all sorts of fits. But J Kidd is my number 10. He was in the same draft class as Grant Hill and Glenn Big Dog Robinson. That was just a very talented class in, I believe, 94. I think that was a 94 draft class. That was just a great draft. Really, really, really good draft class.
Hey, Matt, didn't Kidd win a title with the Mavericks?
No.
I could have sworn he was a part of that team. Well, people don't listen to me, crack rooms to brain.
Let me Google that because I didn't think he won a title.
Because I believe it was he was with Dirk when they won it. Oh man.
Oh yeah,
by the way,
2011.
I still don't got the Ohio State Cup.
He went back. I forgot he went back to Dallas after.
Yeah, he went back to the Mavs and he won it with Dirk.
Okay. Good catch.
So, Matt, help me with this. When someone loses a bet, aren't they supposed to follow through? Because a certain someone over there still is not drinking out of that Ohio State.
Holy shit! Shut the fuck up. I'll be right back.
Now, for those of you who weren't here 2 weeks ago, my brother was a bonehead. And he went against the best team in football throughout the whole playoffs, and that was Seattle. And lost the bet. And he's supposed to be drinking out of that team from Columbus. I don't even say their name because I want to throw up in my mouth when I talk about that school.
It leaves a nasty taste in the mouth.
I would legitimately, if I had to drink out of that cup, I would have to wash my mouth out with like Listerine or something, touching those colors.
You might as well put Listerine in the cup.
Yeah, that's how bad. That's how bad my hate for. How I hate Ohio State.
Oh man.
This is trash. But now my water tastes horrible. Thank you, Rico.
You might as well just fill it up with Listerine because that's the only thing that can make that thing taste halfway decent.
Rico made a point to not tell me that I didn't use my cup yet, so now I'm using the stupid cup.
So we're moving along.
Is that my turn?
No, we're at number 9. 9 on the list. Who's coming in number 9 for you, Rico?
Oh man, well for me for number 9, like I said, everybody's got their own choice, but my number 9 has to be Jerry West. I mean, we're gonna take it back there, like one of the guys who just helped revolutionized the game, man. I mean, look at the who's still the NBA signal, or not signal, but like the signature
Here's the logo.
pose.
Here's the logo.
Yeah, there you go, the logo. Like that says a lot right there. After how many years you are still the logo for the NBA, that is insane. But Jerry West and watching, like, going back and watching that guy play him, and another one of my honorable mentions. We'll talk about him later, but Pistol Pete, same thing, man. Just sorry, watching those guys play just back in the day was just something awesome. Nope. Yes.
Oh.
So number 9, Scotty, who you got for number 9?
I grew up hating this team. They had many members. I would call the center one of the quietest but the most explosive centers in the league. Or a forward, he might have been a power forward. But one of the best coaches in Papa, I think that's what they called Pops, San Antonio Spurs.
Okay.
You have to consider this dude won 4 championships, 6 All-Star appearances, 15-point games, 5.6 assists. You have to talk about Tony Parker.
Okay.
He could lead a team. He could shoot the rock. And he was on probably one of the dirtiest, a dynasty, if you will, San Antonio Spurs. I hated them because they were always winning at that point in time in his life. That's why I picked Tony Parker.
Tony actually made my honorable mention. He led those teams. This is my only knock on Tony, is he wasn't as flashy as the rest of my list is. He was a role player. He was a guy like most of my honorable mentions are those role players, those gritty guys that made what the true definition of a point guard. Didn't he was more of a facilitator. He let Manu Ginobili he let Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, and just all those other guys score while he just went out and was a true point guard. This is my number 9 is going to get me immense amount of heat. I am here for it, and I really don't care. This gentleman is the best shooter on my list. It's Stephen Curry.
9?
He comes in at 9.
Wow.
He comes in at 9. He, in my opinion, you look back at the reason he fell to 9 is because he's a shooting point guard. He isn't a facilitator. He doesn't dish the rock. He's a leader in the fact that when the game's on the line, you get him the ball, he's going to shoot the rock. He's a shooting point guard. He's a scoring point guard. He doesn't necessarily make everyone around him better. He takes the pressure off of everybody. And that's why he fell number 9. He's the greatest point guard in this generation, hands down. But he in my opinion doesn't. He, in my opinion, if he plays 1-on-1 in his prime against the next 7 people you see, wouldn't be able to beat him. And that's just my opinion.
That's your opinion. Wow, fishing him out at number 9 there. Oh, goodness.
Number 8.
Well, number 8 has to go to my boy John Stockton. I feel Stockton, man, he's one of those great point guards. Had a great team multiple years in a row, but unfortunately you kept getting demolished by the Bulls in the finals. And he's one of those that were almost like I always refer to like a Marino, so good but never got a title. And I hate it for him, man. But that guy, you watch him and Malone, like I actually fell in love with the pick and roll because of those two guys, because it's Stockton, man. Just the way they performed it, and watching him play, his passes, his shooting, he was one of those where he could do everything. He could drive it in, and he could dish it out with some pretty sweet passes, or he can just shoot a three in your face. So Stockton, that's my number 8 is John Stockton.
Okay.
Wish he would have won a title.
It's funny that you say it's your 8, and it's funny that you say he's a Dan Marino. But those were my thoughts when I put him down at number 8 as well. John Stockton. I remember watching John Stockton and Karl Malone. You know, you wanted any team you watched, you wanted them to beat the Bulls. I got behind those guys, you know, and he would feed Malone the rock. He could shoot the ball. What puts him at number 8 for me? Simply is he hasn't won a championship. Never did, you know, and I mean, I guess I could have put him honorable mention for that, but I loved watching John Stockton play. I made my list out of, to be honest with you, you guys all have your own ways of making the list. My list came from who I grew up loved watching. Okay. And I do have Steph Curry on my list, much higher on my list than Matt for just personal reasons of why I put him up higher. I agree with Matt. He's just that. He's damn good for this generation. But my number 8 has to be John Stockton for the reason I love to watch the Utah Jazz against the Bulls. Unfortunately, he never won that championship, never won that ring. That's why So number 8 is John Stockton.
My number 8 is Rico's number 10. I went Steve Nash at 8. Okay. Steve Nash is the greatest Canadian basketball player ever. You know what I mean? Like he was one of those guys that I really believe that without him, the Lakers, when he went to the LA Lakers, they don't make the playoffs without Steve Nash. Every team that he went to and played for, he made that team a playoff contender. And he made that team a championship contender by facilitating. He didn't have to score to make everyone around him better. He didn't have to. And like he took guys like, let's be honest, we didn't know, no one knew unless you were a basketball junkie who Sean Marion was until Nash went to Phoenix. You know what I mean? It was just, he was one of those guys, again, floppy hair, just trying to do everything and facilitating, looking for his teammates before looking for himself. And again, that's what my ideal point guard is, and that is why he came in. And it's going to be a guy coming up at my number 7 that is going to contradict what I just said, but we're going to get there. But Steve Nash at 8 because, again, facilitator, and he's a proven winner.
See, gotta love Nash, man. He was just great. Like you said, I mean, wherever he went, he shined, and he helped that team shine.
Yeah. Number 7.
Oh, man. Number 7, I go with Mr. The Glove, Gary Payton. Now, because here's my thing with Gary Payton is I love defense, and to me, he is one of the best defensive point guards ever to play the game. Watching him when they against the Bulls, and which was a freaking just phenomenal Bulls team, you know. But him and Sean Kemp, he's another one, just like we were talking about, like with Stockton and stuff. freaking Gary would just go out there. He could drive it into you. He could dish it out, and he can shoot it. But his defense is just what made him shine so bright for me, man. So many people had a hard time trying to get by him. That's why they call him the glove, because he would snatch that ball in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And I feel so bad that they couldn't get past the Bulls, but man, it was the Bulls. What are you gonna say?
He made my honorable mention. I will admit that he made my honorable mention.
Yep, mine too. My guy was from that team, not the era that I hated the most, but from that team I hated the most. He won a championship with them in 2007. He was that guy. He didn't have to do much, but his presence out there on that court made a difference for the Celtics. I'm talking about Rajon Rondo. That kid, I loved his game. He was a good ball handler. He dished the rock. He did those facilitator things that Matt was talking about. He helped the Celtics win the championship in 2007. He was a big part of that. I mean, you know, he played in the All-Star game, scored double digits. I had to give it to Rajon Rondo. You can't live, in my opinion, for me, it's point guards, when you talk about it, I remember him as a Celtic. So my 7 was Rajon Rondo.
And that's one that didn't quite make my honorable mention because I hated him so much. Like, I hated him to the point where I couldn't put him. He's one of those guys that, and all I have to say, he's one of those guys you say Rajon Rondo, and Pistons fans they just get irritated, and like he ranks right in there with Dennis Johnson.
Yes, absolutely.
And I hated that. I hate that guy too. And there's a steal by Bird underneath the DJ. He lays it up and in. That moment will live rent free in my head until the day I die. My number 7 is a guy. He toted the line between point guard and shooting guard. The only guy on my list that kind of like blurred the lines. He's the only guy that I've ever seen crossed up Michael Jordan. He is the answer, Allen Iverson. He comes in at number 7 for me. He, for the longest time in that generation, he was my favorite player in that era. I rooted for him over Kobe. I hated Kobe Bryant, but I loved myself some Allen Iverson.
Whoa. Harsh words, man. Harsh words.
Hey, you played for the Lakers. I hated the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like it was Shaq and Kobe. I wanted to throw up. It's like, all right, it's the disdain we all had for the Patriots. Like, there's not even as a Boston person, you hated the Patriots because they won so goddamn much. That's where I was. Like, I hated, like, they were the New York Yankees of the NBA. I hated them. They bought championships. Oh, Shaq leaves. We're going to go buy Paul Gasol. Come on. Oh, Paul left. We're going to go get Dwight Howard. Come on. But that being said, I really, really wanted to see Allen Iverson beat the Lakers in that series. When he hit that jump shot and he stepped over Derek Fisher and he looked down at him, that moment will forever be etched in my head.
That is still one of the best highlights to this day.
He hits that fall-away jump shot, gets up, and he just steps over Derek Fisher looking down at him. And I was like, the only thing that would have been better if they would have won the championship. Like, you talk about great players who never won a ship. That man is one of the top 5 all time, next to Charles Barkley, the Karl Malones, the Gary Paytons, the John Stocktons, the Patrick Ewings, like those guys. So at number 7 he was the only non-true point guard in my list, just because Allen Iverson, he made Jordan look like a fool. He crossed him up so many times. Jordan didn't know what. I mean, Jordan's like, all right, maybe it's time for me to hang him up after that.
But AI crossed up everybody. There wasn't one person he didn't cross up in the league.
The only other guy that had better crossover in the league made my honorable mention, and that's Tim Hardaway. The killer crossover.
He's one of my honorable mentions, Tim Hardaway. He even had the Hardaway crossover corner.
So that's my number 7. We're on to number 6. What do we got at number 6?
For my number 6, I think it just. I will say I don't really care for the guy's attitude. I don't. But as a ball player, he is freaking sweet, and he has shown it so many times over and over again. Russell Westbrook. That guy is insanely good. And I just, like, how many triple doubles can this fool get, man? Like, I believe he still leads for the most triple doubles. And I'm sitting there watching him like, how has he not got a chip yet? Just how? Like, it astonishes me how good he is and how good he makes his team around him.
Yeah,
remember when he had Kevin Durant?
I can answer your question why he doesn't have a ship. And it kind of rolls into what you said. You didn't like his attitude. His attitude is part of it. His attitude is a stat stuffer. That's all that kid is. He's a stat stuffer. Mm-hmm. Doesn't care about winning ball games. He just cares about getting his stats, getting his three or his triple double. He doesn't care about anything else. That's the honest to God. Like, you look at him, like, he doesn't go out and try to make everyone else around him better. He looks for the guys that he knows can get that he can get that ball to, so he can make that assist. He's gonna do the bare minimal to get those stats. He's a stat stuffer. He is not on my top 10. He is not in my honorable mention because he's a stat stuffer. He's a chaser, and he's a shit teammate.
I can't argue with you. I just can't. Teammate. I can't disagree with you, man. Like, that's why I started off with his attitude is horrible. But as a player, like, just watching him play, he is not one of the best, but he is up there in very good point guard.
Well, he was my number 6 too. I'll just be honest with you. He was my number 6.
You took a picture of my list, didn't you?
I mean, he was. He's a 9-time All-Star player, MVP award during the 2016-2017 season. That's the person that he shares that triple-double with is Oscar Robinson. But I think he's not a team player. That's why he's not winning championships. Yes, he has an attitude. Yes, he's a ball hog. But when you think about point guards, when I'm watching basketball, and I don't watch a lot of basketball to save my soul here lately, but I would have to put Russell Westbrook. But Westbrook ranks up there as top point guards that I've watched. So that's why he came at number 6. Nothing more.
Number 6 for me is a guy who has shown over and over and over and over again what a true point guard is supposed to be. He's the only guy that in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, would be able to be compared to my number 1. And that's Chris Paul. Chris Paul is my number 6. He goes and he wins wherever he goes. He's a leader. He's humble. He looks for everyone else and then his. He doesn't look for his shot and then facilitates after. he goes out, he plays defense. Well, he used to play defense. I mean, he just recently retired. He stepped away. But never won. He's another one of those guys that's never won a championship. But he drew from day one, playing for the New Orleans Pelicans, I believe. No, New Orleans Hornets. He was drafted by the Hornets out of college, and from day one they were comparing him to Isaiah Thomas. They said his game was identical to Isaiah. He's number 6.
No, that's a good 6, man. Very good 6. And it's funny that you say that name, because my number 5 is Isaiah Thomas.
Oh wow!
Like, as a Pistons fan, I wanted to put him higher just because his Pistons, but I just like we all know the whole history, the whole story about him and Jordan, and the arguing about the Olympic team, stuff like that. And he's another one who kind of still has an attitude to this day about it. I was watching a story Dwayne Wade was talking about it. He was like, they're bringing up the top 75, and Jordan's coming up, and he's like, Zeke just looks at him. He's like, man, you still beefing with him? He's like, I'll never like that guy. And he's like, and everyone else was saying how you always just kind of had an attitude towards other players who were great. And that's where it kind of, that's why I put him at my number 5. I wanted to put him higher for Pistons, but I had to put him at number 5. Isaiah Thomas was at 89-90 Pistons, bad boy Pistons, man. The homeboys, love you guys. But yeah, I ain't putting him higher than number 5. I ain't got much more to say about him.
So I have, I had one down, but I want to be fair to, I never watched this guy, so I wouldn't be able to put him down. It was Walt Frazier. I mean, he paved the way, I think, for guards in basketball, but I had to switch that out, because I was looking through my list, and I'm like, this guy's not on my list. Again, it goes back to, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a stat guy. I'm not a stat tracker. I'm not a whatever. I based my list on who I enjoyed watching when I was watching ball. And I cannot leave him out of this list. I'm a big Pistons fan. You have to put Chauncey Billups as a point guard. You have to have him on your list. He could shoot the 3. He could shoot the free throws. He could pass the ball. He could run the floor. That's what I've seen as a fan. I love that team. I loved him with the Prince. I loved him with Rashid. I loved him with that team. And that's why he's on my number 5. He is Mr. Big Shot. You had him on the court, you knew the ball was going in. Or at least you hoped. You had to hope the ball was going in.
But that was the thing with him, man. Of like, you knew that if he didn't have the shot, he would find someone open who could.
So I have to put him as number 5.
He made my honorable mention. The 6'3" Chauncey Billups.
Yep.
Great number. That's a great number 5. It's a great number 5 because in the modern era of basketball, one of the best point guards in that modern era. My number 5 is the guy that you guys had like towards at the beginning here. He is the assist king in the 90s. No one dished the rock like this guy did ever. It was so the dude that took Isaiah's spot on the dream team. It's none other than John Stockton.
Yeah.
John Stockton is number 5 for me. You look at all the great moments he had in the play. He had playoff after playoff moment after playoff moment. That pull-up 3 right in Kenny Smith's face against the Rockets to send them to the Western Conference Finals. Just a pull-up from like the other side of the half court and just Drano, and it was either Kenny Smith or Mario Ellie's face, just buckets in his face. He made, again, in I think 3 consecutive seasons, he led the NBA in steals and assists. That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And his in my opinion, the 90s, and we can also break this down in another episode, but in the 90s it was team basketball. It wasn't just this one-on-one isolating bull that they play in today's game. Because that's what it is now. It's one-on-one ISO, it's matchups, it's not team basketball.
Yeah, and that's he played in the to me one of the hardest eras to play in.
Yeah, it was physical. The point guard. I mean, Gary Payton said that John Stockton, and because I was listening to him on a podcast with, I think it was Stephen. Gary Payton was on like that one that Steven Jackson does. Him and that other him and Steven Jackson. I can't remember what the name of the podcast is, but they do a podcast where it's old NBA players talking to older NBA players, and Gary Payton said that John Stockton was the coldest white kid he knew. Like there's nobody that compares. In Payton's eyes, he said that Stockton was the coldest dude on the court. Like no one could touch the guy. He comes in at number 5.
That is one heck of a number 5. Like I said, it's just I got nothing but love for Stockton, man. I didn't personally put him that lower on my list, but for any reason, just I felt like others just had it above him. Like my number 4 is the AI. I can't count how many times I would go to the basketball courts 5:30 in the morning in Detroit and just sit there and practice his crossover and it's just all day long. Like I loved that guy so much, and just watching him play. And like you said, watching him cry, because people got by on Jordan and stuff and shot on him, but nobody ever really crossed him up the way he did. He said, "Oh, made you look." And just the most respect for someone who never got that title, but played his heart out every single game, gave you everything you had.
Except at practice.
I was just going to say the practice. I don't know how you guys are with like sneakers and stuff like that, but like I've always kind of been a sneakerhead, and I never really cared about Reeboks until Allen Iverson. He was the reason why I bought those AIs.
Yeah, I had a pair of the ones with the tips. I think those were the answer. The answer 4, something like that. Yeah.
That was my favorite one.
Well,
yeah,
this is gonna sound like Rico and I shared stories, but all I'm gonna say is practice. We're talking about game time situations. You want to talk about practice? He was the greatest point guard to never win a championship. And crossovers that we talked, you guys have already mentioned everything I had on my notes. Crossovers, assists, rookie of the year honors, and that he had for a 6-foot point guard. He could ball. He played street ball to the best on that basketball court. That kid was just phenomenal. You just loved watching that step back. That fadeaway jump shot that he had, it was ridiculous. And the grit and the attitude and everything that comes with AI, he had to be my number 4. I'll be right back.
So, I mean, I guess I'll run my 4 down with you, and when Scott gets back, I'll let him know who my number 4 is. It's the logo. I went Jerry West at number 4. Just because he was that Laker that was tough. He was gritty. He played in an era where he didn't have really anyone around him. He had Jamal. I think Jamal Wilkes was the second best player on his team. Jamal's great. Don't get me wrong. Jamal Wilkes, one of the all-time greats. Because I don't think he win. He won his championship with Wilt Chamberlain. That's the only championship he ever won. It was with Wilt. But that was towards Wilt. That's like towards the end of Wilt's career. I think he was battling some injuries when he played for the Lakers at that point. He's the logo for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, he was the guy, just that crossover. Like, he did crossovers before crossovers were cool. You know what I mean?
Yup.
And he had a shot that was smooth as silk, and he was also just a guy, a great basketball mind. Because he ends up being one of the best GMs in the league. He built that Golden State Warrior team into something huge. You know, like when he took over, he's the reason Steph Curry is in Golden State. He's the reason he went and got a guy, saw how talented of a coach Steve Kerr is, and brought him in. Like, he just has the knack of just a very great basketball mind in general, and that is why Jerry West is number 4 for me. It's the logo. Again, he's a logo for a reason.
Exactly. Definitely, exactly, man. Respect to the logo. So my number 3, I mean, you already brought him up before, but I can't remember when you guys did it. My boy TP, man, Tony Parker. You want to talk about just someone who pisses you off watching him play, because I rooted against them and I wanted them to lose. And he just, I got so mad because he's so good. It's just like watching him just come down. Boom. Oh, here you go, Manu. Go ahead, take it. Oh, here you go, Tim. Boom. Oh, what? You guys are covered? Boom. Tony Parker was magnificent. And it showed leading. He led, him and Tim Duncan led that Spurs team. That is my number 3, Mr. TP.
We're inside the 3. Who do we got at your number 3, Scott?
My number 3. I will catch heat from my brother because I think he dogged this guy. No, he didn't dog this guy. But my number 3, 12-time All-Star, 2 championships, probably one of the best basketball teams in the 80s, hands down the meanest basketball team in the 80s. He does have an attitude. He still has a chip on his shoulder over Michael Jordan and on them. And I love the fact that he walked out on that game. I love that. I was so that just solidified who the bad boys were. My number 3, played with a broken or a messed up ankle I think in the championship game in a series. And he's got to be number 3, has to be Isaiah Thomas. Has to be. He's one of the best in the game to play as a point guard. Hands down. Hands down.
Top 10.
I have him top 3. Number 3.
My number 3 is the true triple-double king himself from the Milwaukee Bucks. The big O, Oscar Robertson. Oscar had the ability again to, when he stepped out on that floor, you knew something special was going to happen. I only have been able to see highlights. Obviously, I'm not old enough to know, like, actually watch him play. I've studied him because it was just one of those guys that you heard all the stories, you saw the highlights, you saw his statistics. He was a facilitator, and then when he was a facilitator first, found everyone else, and then when everyone else was making buckets, he'd pull up in your face and pop one. And the big O, Oscar Robertson, forever will be one of the top 3 point guards of all time. He is my number 3.
Good three. So my number 2 is going to mess with Matt. My number 2 is Mr. Steph Curry. Because, and this is my reason, because, yes, he is mainly just a shooter. But when he had Clay on his team, he was a disher. And he also dishes to he dishes to other teammates as well. Not as much as some of the other point guards do on our list. But when Steph comes on that floor, it's all eyes on him. And everybody's looking like, what's this guy going to do? He does set the tempo for that game. I don't care who you are, he will control that game. If he can't find somebody, he will pop it in your face from half court or wherever nowadays. He's a piece. The guy shoots from wherever he wants to and he still makes it. But just I put him up as my number 2 because he led his team to victory. He didn't just sit by and help. He led his team to victory multiple times.
Now,
and yes, Matt, I think he is a great point guard.
I will. He did make my list. Part of the reason why he just didn't get higher as well is I just feel, again, he's a little soft. He's how often does he miss 20 plus games in a year? The last 5 years, he's missed on average 15 to 20 games a year. The point guards above him played through that. They didn't take nights off. They played through the injuries. They played through that. That's why he's lower on my list. I need a guy that goes out there every night and battles.
I got you.
But I would say this.
I get you.
But I would say this though. Ball back in the day, when in the 80s and 90s, prior to Steph coming in, you're right. The ballers played every game. Nowadays, this league and their rules and their pettiness and their bullshit. I mean, they're told to take time off now, or they're whatever. And I'm like, I don't understand it. That's not grit. I don't like the game of basketball in the last 5 to 7 years. It's a bunch of, how do I say this? It's a bunch of overgrown, egotistic sons of a guns playing in a watered down sport that if they stepped on a basketball court at the college level, they'd be in trouble. I'll say that.
That's like one of my most fondest moments was Kobe tearing his Achilles, still going to shoot the free throw.
They don't do that now.
Refused to sit down.
Mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, Matt. He's missed how many games? I could name a list. I could name 50 people off the top of my head who's missed games due to a toenail, a broken fingernail. What?
LeBron.
But my number 2, and it's a favorite. It's what I enjoy watching, who I enjoyed watching. Man, and I could not get in it, and it's not just him. I think maybe that's the team I liked. The Steph Curry, phenomenal. You had that whole team with Clay, Draymond, the guy that left and came back, Oh, that team 4 or 5 years ago, that team was phenomenal. You know, the championships. Steph Curry can dish the rock. He's a ball handler, a great ball handler. I get what you're saying, Matt, why you would like him higher. But to me, for as far as a fan goes, there's nothing. Well, there's one person better. There's nothing, nothing that you can take away from that guy's skill. That boy can play like a mad son of a bitch.
You know, and he surprised me because he's always known as a shooter, but man, like watching him cross people up and just take it in and lay up the big guys, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
man, stuff's got game.
Well, fellas, my number 2 is more than likely going to be your number 1.
I'm going to turn my TV off now because if you say, come on.
If you say what I think you're going to say, mute him.
Number 2 from East Lansing, Michigan.
Okay, I'm done.
33 for the
What?
Magic Johnson is my number 2. And since I didn't name a certain somebody, I think y'all know who my number 1 is. Magic. The reason the Magic fell to 2 and didn't go to 1 is because Magic Johnson he was built like a small forward. He was 6'9" running the point guard. That's the biggest thing. Like 6'9" against a 6'1" Isaiah Thomas, who is the number 1 point guard on my list, by the way. Isaiah. Isaiah did things with the ball, and well, I'll explain why I took him at 1. But Magic is 2 only because he's of his size and the teams he played on. He played on some. We talk about stacked teams with these super teams that LeBron plays on. The Showtime Lakers were just loaded with talent. And, I mean, James Worthy, he was an All-American out of North Carolina. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the all-time active leading scorer at center. You had Jamal Wilkes. You had H.D. Green, who was one of the greatest 6 men of that generation. You had Sam Perkins, who could hit it was just a loaded team. It wasn't a built team. It was built through the draft, so don't get it twisted. I just think that Magic had all the tools. He was thrown into a situation where if he didn't win those championships, there's something seriously wrong.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why Isaiah's my number 1 here shortly.
I don't know, because I remember a 2004 very stacked Lakers that got swept, but by our lovely Pistons.
Oh, it went 5 games.
Was it? Okay.
Detroit won game 1. Detroit won game 1. They came back, won game 2, and then we won 3, 4, and 5.
Yep. I'm sorry, but still,
not to interrupt, but Pistons won. Cavaliers 110. Pistons 109. 48 seconds to go. Just FYI.
Ooh.
Your number 1.
That Cavalier team is good this year, man. Well, they're good last year. They're good this year.
What's your number 1?
So, I mean, needless to say, my number 1 is Magic. I can't pick anyone above Magic. And yes, he might have had he did have a great team around him. He did. But he elevated that team as well. Like even Jordan described him as one of the best point guards in his eyes because he played in that era. And he played a little bit in the era after that. And he stated how there was just something about Magic, like he just had a way about him on the court where it was very hard to guard him. He could get past you. He did a lot of smooth passes, and he can just shoot it, just pop up, boom, and just Magic. You're killing me, Matt. You're killing me for Isaiah Put Magic. I get it, your list. I get it. I just can't put Zeke above Magic ever. Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, and Rico must have been looking at my list. I got stories about Magic Johnson though. You know, my mom's brothers. I remember hearing stories about my brothers and my uncles. You know, going to East Lansing and going to Ann Arbor Chrysler Arena for the MHSAA basketball tournaments, and I believe they watched Magic Johnson or Irving Johnson back in the day. I think he came out of Lansing, something or other, and they watched him play. And you'd hear Bernie, and you'd hear Uncle Bud, and you hear Uncle all my uncles talk about Magic Johnson. And then you started hearing about him as a Michigan State Spartan, you know, and it was fun watching him. Again, my uncles brought me in. They're big Michigan State fans, if I'm right, Matt. I believe most of my uncles were Michigan State fans. So that's all you heard about was Magic Johnson. And I started watching him when they were talking about that. And yes, I agree with a lot of what Matt's saying. He's a big 6'9" point guard. A lot of teams would put 6'9" at forward or shooting guard. So really, but I don't see anybody out there, anybody that I see that can dish the rock like Magic Johnson. Now I will agree that the teams of the Showtime era, since you could dish the rock from half court and that team would find the rock and score. You know what I'm saying? That team was loaded. You had Kareem, you had Coop, that team was nasty. I love Magic Johnson. My heart broke when he had HIV, all that crap. That was my guy. If I had a GOAT of a basketball player, that's still the guy. That's even my second. I love Steph Curry, but I'm still going to put Magic Johnson as my GOAT. He was what I call fun basketball, skilled basketball. That's why I put Magic Johnson as number one point guard.
Well, Isaiah is my number one. For obviously, I grew up a Pistons fan. I grew up a Bad Boys fan. I grew up watching Isaiah in that 1988 NBA Finals, hobbling down the floor, hitting a jump shot over Magic Johnson in the corner, going out of bounds to force a Game 7 on practically a broken foot. The legend will always be of that game. He took the Detroit Pistons from a team with no direction, a team that had no future, had no one. He didn't even want to be. When he got drafted by Chicago, or he was out of. He wanted to get drafted somewhere else. When he got drafted out of Indiana, he considered not showing up. He considered not but he did. He came to Detroit. He laced it up, and he killed it. And he's the one he orchestrated getting a guy like Bill Laimbeer. He was able to tame Dennis Rodman in his earlier era. He was able to get a guy like Joe Dumars to be an all-star. Guys wanted to play with Isaiah because he was able to elevate their talent and get them better. Because unless you're a basketball junkie, you didn't know who Dennis Rodman was. You didn't know who Mark Aguirre came in after. You didn't know who Bill Laimbeer was until he started popping threes in your face. You didn't know Joe Dumars out of McNeese State unless you were a Pistons fan. But Isaiah helped these guys become a household name. Like Isaiah made these guys into being a household name. Isaiah had the handles, had the best handles in the 80s and most of the 90s. Like there's nobody that can handle the rock like Isaiah. Nobody. That crossover he had, that stutter step. Magic even said he hated guarding Isaiah because of how fast he was. When one GOAT says he hates guarding Isaiah because how fast he is and he couldn't move like Isaiah, that's an edge.
Yeah.
That's why I took Isaiah at 1 and Magic at 2. Isaiah just could do things with the ball that I haven't seen anyone do since. Like there's just he has the ability to elevate everyone around him, and he can score on you too. So we have a little bit of time to go down our honorable mention. I got one at a time.
Yeah.
Because we already talked about Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
All right. Tony Parker's on mine. Pistol Pete's on mine. Gary Payton's on mine. Chauncey Billups is on mine. There's 2 on mine that weren't talked about. Jason Williams, White Chocolate's one of them.
Okay.
That's one of mine.
And a guy that doesn't get nearly the amount of credit that he deserves, or he's one of the most underrated and underappreciated point guards of all time, and that's Kevin Johnson from the Phoenix Suns. That dude, insane, so good. He's one of those guys who, in that 90s Phoenix Suns roster, that he was able to help a guy like, say, Dan Marley, Cedric Ceballos, Tom Chambers, Mark West. So Kevin Johnson's my last guy on my honorable mention.
Wow.
What happened?
Go ahead.
So, I mean, yeah, you pretty much had a lot of similar honorable mentions that I had. Except for I have one where we talked about it earlier, where this guy, he is considered a shooting guard, but also he was mostly a point guard. And I just wish he had more time to play and didn't get injured, was Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, Anthony, yeah.
Because that guy was, to me, because, you hated the Bulls, but Jordan was my favorite player. And Anthony was like that guy who was right there behind him. His game was on another level. And man, I hated that he got hurt.
Going to overtime, boys.
Another one is Damian Lillard.
Okay.
You want to talk about someone who just another like Steph Curry. Like I think the difference between him and Steph is like maybe I would say Steph's a little bit better of a shooter, but Damian is more of an assassin. Like he can really take it and take you to the hole. Like just watching him cross guys, I'm like, wow, man, he's so fast. That first step, as soon as he gets you, he's gone. And you had mentioned Pistol Pete, man. Pistol Pete, like when I played ball in high school, I watched tapes of Pistol Pete. Just like, man, this guy was doing flashy stuff before it was flashy.
You said Gary Payton, I had him. You said Jason Kidd, I had him. Chris Paul. Matt mentioned on this prick earlier. I say prick because it's the worst freaking worst freaking play I've ever had to observe in my life. Matt mentioned the guy in kind of a conversation, but the steal by and then the layup by Mr. Dennis Johnson, I hated that guy. I could not stand that guy. He was part of that Celtics team. I threw up in my mouth. I couldn't stand watching him. But you got to give credit where credit's due, right? We may hate the Boston Celtics, but that team was a thorn in our side because they were what? Because they were good. Mm-hmm. Dennis Johnson was part of that good team. I mean, boy could play. He could move. He was in your face. He was annoying as hell. But he won championships, and he was a damn good ball player. So Dennis Johnson made my honorable mention. I only had 4. You guys listed 3. That's where my
I had one more. Sorry, just because this guy was a great defender, and he was a very important part of their team. Was Ron Harper?
Yeah.
Ron's defense was another point guard.
I always thought Ron Harper was more of a shooting guard, small forward, but.
He was a shooting guard, but they had him a lot of times at point guard because, of course, Jordan's your shooting guard.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you talk about some of the point guards that Jordan played with. He had Steve Kerr. He had John Paxson. John Paxson, B.J. Armstrong. Those guys were insane too. Mark Price was one of those guys who was always in the All-Star All-Star games in the 90s. Michael Adams was another guy, and I'm just thinking about some like the greats, not the greats, but the really good point guards from the 90s.
Right.
Scotty Skiles.
Yeah.
From the old school, like Orlando Magic. I think he still has the single game assist record.
Did Marley play guard?
No, he was a small forward. He was a 3. Because Kevin Johnson, he was on the same team with Kevin Johnson.
That's right.
Yeah.
You want to find ironic?
You want to find ironic? Point?
Who?
Nick Anderson for the Magic.
They have him. He's a 2-3. He's like a shooting guard, small forward.
Gotcha. I find ironic.
It was like Penny and them. So Penny was the one.
No one mentioned any current point guards. That's ironic. That's funny to me because we all know when real basketball was being played. That's where our list came from. So anyways.
Listen, I've said it before. I'm more of a basketball fan than any other sport ever. And that's wrestling too. And I love wrestling, but I love basketball. But these past couple of years, I have not been able to get into it. I have to force myself to watch a game. Like I watch the Pistons because it's the Pistons. But I used to watch other teams just
they're up by 4 now.
Watch it.
They're up by 4 now.
Nice. You know, like now I have a very hard time watching it.
Huh?
You're a couple seconds ahead of me. They're only up by 2 on my screen.
Well.
Oh.
All
right. Thanks Adrian Whisper, Maddie French, and whoever else watching this, giving us the heart up there as well. We've had consistently 3 people and the 3 to 4 people watching us. We really appreciate you coming out on a Friday evening and checking us out. Next week's topic will be similar to this. It will be our top 10 shooting guards. We're gonna torture Rico a little bit next week, and we're gonna make him pick his top 10 shooting guards for the And
These little kids, man.
and listen, I'm gonna. It's not a. It's obviously not going to be a spoiler, or it's a spoiler. It's whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it. If Michael Jordan is not our number one across the board, there's something seriously wrong. That's my spoiler for the week. I'm just saying.
I don't disagree whatsoever with that statement. I mean, it's kind of plain and simple.
But
it's spelled
again,
out for
guys,
you.
I appreciate you guys for.
So what's going to happen if I pick somebody other than that?
We're gonna have to mute you.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna question what you're drinking inside that Ohio State cup.
That might be true.
I mean, you might put some liquor in that thing and get all hopped up on something.
I think he's gonna have some payback at me tomorrow.
I cannot. I don't know, man.
Now, we're gonna pull the curtains back just a second. For everyone out there, I know we're still rolling. Big news. We're about 2 weeks away. My family, the people that are back in those rooms back there, we will be moving away from this. We're going to be moving out of the house that we are currently living in, and we're in the closing stages of buying a house. So hopefully we can close within the next week and a half, 2 weeks. Things will look a little bit different. I'm still going to be on these shows on Friday night, but I'm going to have to run it with my phone instead of my laptop because of Wi-Fi issues. Because we won't have internet, but I don't want to get behind on these shows. I want to do it. So we'll make it happen. Update on my show on Tuesdays. We're shutting it down until Wi-Fi is readily available at the house. It's just something that Reese and I had made. We made the choice to do that. That way, Scott, what do you got going on this coming week?
Coming week, I'll tell you, we have what we call the Raw Deal on Tuesday. We Rico, Mr. Q, and I go over Monday Night Raw. The Monday show, we have a female wrestler from WOW. Wow. I think her name is, give me a second. Her name is, where you at here? Can't remember her name. But
oh geez, that's a great
look.
Right?
I know, right?
Way to go, man.
Way to go.
Come on our show. We'll forget your name by the second time we talk.
No,
we will remember who you are by the time it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have.
So I know we were talking about basketball here today, but because tomorrow's the show, what's in the box?
There's two ideas that has been floating in my head. One is going to and Andrew actually put this in my head. He goes, Dad, what if the box gets wheeled out, it opens up, and it's Danhausen.
If it's Danhausen, dude. Never mind.
It's very nice, very evil.
Shania Thomas is the wrestler that's going to be on Monday night. Shania Thomas.
So, okay, I just a theory real quick is did anybody else see where Karrion Kross was being interviewed and he got that message from Paul Heyman?
I hope to God it's Karrion Kross. I hope that I will pop like freaking crazy.
Well,
you will.
Jey Uso got attacked tonight in front of the box.
Really?
I'm gonna have to watch
He got
this.
taken away on a stretcher. He got put in an ambulance and sent out.
So somebody's going to replace him in that as that
Somebody's
spot.
gonna take his spot.
That would be sick as hell if that box rolled out and sat next to the chamber, and they popped that open. Dude, I hope all I gotta say, I hope they do it right.
It's gonna yeah. I will pop if it's Karrion Kross.
Hell,
I do know we have
Kross. It could be Y2J.
yep.
I want it to be that person that's not going to be, but I want it to be Moxley. I would love that. That would be sick as shit. But it's not going to happen.
No, you know what, Matt? I gotta tell you this. He will never admit it, but you know what he said the other day?
Shut your fucking
He
mouth.
said,
I
"You know
didn't
who
say
I
it.
hope it is. Say his name and."
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear what you said.
He muted you, and it's Joe Hendry.
I didn't hear what you
Yes.
said. What did you say?
Yeah.
He's only
Say his name and he'll appear.
Hendry. I knew it.
That's stupid. Why would you do that? That's dumb.
That would be dumb. There's no reason to put.
But it's going to be Danhausen, so we're all going to be.
And I'm going to stop watching wrestling if it's Danhausen. Tell me why that makes any stupid sense.
It makes about as much sense as Orange Cassidy being a champion.
I will agree with that.
But you're an Orange Cassidy guy. You love yourself some Orange Cassidy.
I love Orange Cassidy, but the box, if we're talking about the box, it better not be something dumb like that. Period.
What if it's Orange Cassidy?
What if it's Vince McMahon?
Fuck.
Oh my God. What if it's Shane?
You're making me
It was me all along.
You're making me cuss on a show that I shouldn't cuss on.
But again,
thanks
everyone for joining. Thank you both for being just kind of bearing with us in this whole situation.
Absolutely.
Fun
show.
I look forward to these Friday night shows, and we'll see you guys next time.